Alright, so hello fellow WordPress geeks. Today we're going to learn about WP API. In Google, you can just do a search on that. You're going to get these two, and let's open this guy up. This is their GitHub page. This is an API library that was created by Mr. Cadam White. This is a very powerful library, and this is their GitHub page. And here you're going to find all these documents. Now, I'm going to have to be straight here. I mean, this is a very powerful library, very nice to work with, but their documentation sucks. Okay, so that's why I decided to create this series. I'm going to be going through, quickly showing you how to utilize this very powerful tool. And you can find this in this npm library, and with a simple command like npm i-wapi, you can install that. And after installing, I have created this. This is a theme that created and wired up React to work with WordPress templates and utilize this WP API to collect this post. And I'm using Bootstrap for quick styling. As you can see, all these are Bootstrap stuff. And here comes the data from REST API. And let's look at the code behind. All right, so we're at the back end, and here it is my theme that I created. And I will make this available for you in GitHub. This is the structure pretty much. Basically, I'm not going to waste too much time walking through how everything is set up, because to figure that out, you're going to have to watch my previous videos on this same series. I have, everything detailed, multiple videos, so not to worry about it. So here I'm going to just touch up on these three files. One is the template file. This is the basic WordPress template, and this is where all this coming from. This is React with WP API REST. If you look here, this is the headline, and then this stuff is coming from React. I'm loading it using this page here. And while I'm doing this, I would assume that you already know the basics of React and WordPress, so I'm not gonna waste my time doing that, because if you don't, then there are probably 5 trillion courses on basic stuff out there, literally 5 trillion. So you can choose any one of them or multiple of them to learn the basics and then come back here. So basically what's happening here is I'm having a title here, WAPI getting post. This is covered, just this headline right here, and this is giving me the content control, all the styling and stuff. And then I'm calling this module right here, which is right here under component folder, and this one right here, WP-API1.js, and this is the one we're going to be mostly working with. And here I'm just, as I showed before, the WP API, I'm loading it from React. I'm loading the use effect and use state, and other two are basically the spinner, basically the loading spinner, and the React HTML parser. And we need this because when we bring data from WordPress REST API, like here, if you go inside, and you will see like the content is not just content, it's content.rendered, and it comes with some HTML in there. See the p tag? So once that comes in, React actually shows everything verbatim. So then I use this parser so that the HTML is read and the titles and stuff are presented nicely here like this, like the HTML doesn't show up, right? So that being said, here I'm declaring a post variable, and this is the use state, how I'm gonna be setting these posts up. And another variable called is pending. This is something I'm using for the loading spinner, right? So, and here is the actual WP API. I'm actually instantiating it, and I am giving it my endpoint here, which is basically the website URL /WP JSON. And if you're familiar with this JSON, like the REST API, then you probably noticed that usually to get post, we have to do this WP /v2 and then /posts. if we do that, then let me just show you. Let me go straight to the browser here by copying this, and let me just paste this here and hit enter. And this is your actual REST API coming straight from the WordPress, right? But since we are using this library, all we have to give it is this. That's all. So it actually figures out the rest. So once we have our object created, the WP object, then we just go straight to, I'm using use effect here so that I can run this as a side effect to load the data. And I'm declaring a variable and async function. I'm putting it inside a try catch. And at the very beginning, I am setting the is pending to true. That's the variable that I'm going to be checking for the loading spinner. And then after that, this is our variable where I'm actually gathering or pulling all the posts in. Yeah, let me make it a bit larger here so that way, and we don't need all that, so you can see better. So basically this is collecting all the posts and using this wp.post, and this is the coming from the API. You can always check the documentation to find out what they are, what they're about, but I'm actually showing them what they do in action. So this can serve you as more than a documentation. This can be proof of concept, right? So you'll see it live at work. So now that we have this, the data came in, and I'm showing it right here. See, this is console.log, just showing us the data. And once the data is loaded, I am turning that set pending to false, so that this, you'll see quickly. See that tiny little loading spinner? See that it loaded too fast because I'm pulling the data locally. So for a little bit there, it actually turns true, it shows up, and then it disappears, as you can see here. Inside the return, these are the visible stuff. Is pending, if is pending is true, and then the loading bar shows up, and then all of a sudden the data comes in, and that is pending becomes false, and that loading spinner goes away, right? So that being said, here is the return, and inside the return we have this piece of JavaScript, which is, as you can see here, we are setting the posts with the data that we pulled in, right? So if you go back here, this is our variable, posts and set post, and we're using use state to put it all in this post state. So this is going to be our variable. So once the data is in, and once we use this set post to put, insert the data and update the post content, so right here we're just mapping it. Just post.map, because there's going to be multiple of them. In our case, there's like 10 of them. So this 10, we spin them through, and inside we are using all the data like ID is post.id. The title is post.title.rendered, as you can see here. Right here, post.title.rendered. And then the rest of the stuff, this slug, post.slug, it's coming from right here, post.slug. And here's an interesting one, which is the categories, right? The categories are actually, there could be multiple of them right here it's one, but let's check, let's randomly pick one and see, okay, there's one, and there could be multiple right there. See, category, it returns an array, right? So an array, we can just go, posts.categories, right? That's not going to work. Because of that, we had to use another map, post.categories, and single category we send out there, and we're returning each category plus a comma. Because of that, we are seeing a nice little categorized list. Let me just make it a little bit larger for you. So this is where you can see the category list with comma, and our slug here, our ID, post.id, and the title, which is post.title.rendered right here. So this is how I am actually collecting all the necessary stuff that I need. And from the next video, I will go ahead and keep changing this one, using like categories and then users and then let's say the media, what is their content, the settings, etc., etc. And I'm going to be changing this to have the display of the data. And also just to check out the backend, and these are the data. This is the actual WordPress backend. These are the posts that we're talking about and we're going to be dealing with, and these are going to be our users we're going to be play around with. And here we're going to be playing around with some of these categories, like lots and lots of categories here to play with, and even a custom taxonomy here so that we manipulate or work with. I mean, this series is focusing on just reading the data, and I'm going to be creating another one where we're going to have the CRUD, like delete, update, and creation. This is pretty much the introduction, and once again, in case you're not, you're worried about how these are wired, like, this is another application, here's another, application, loading up on different templates, and here's one, right? So in case you're wondering about this stuff, please go back and watch the previous videos that I created on this series, where I laid out in detail how I set up everything. And I'm going to be giving you this whole theme to download. I'm going to, in the previous videos, I have even showed you how to actually, download and go to work with it, right? So that being said, let's get started on the next video. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button and the subscribe button. This will help me bring more free contents like this to you every week. Thanks again.